Welcome back to Eye on South Asia. Now we're going to move on to the European Union and their role, right?
They're partnering with the US on the sanctions against Iran, and Iran has also declared they will not supply oil to 4 or 5 countries as of now, which is again, so they're at loggerheads with each other. And the European Council's President Herman Van Rompuy, who was in India, and pointed at India, which is the very important card in this whole thing, if I may say, very important player in this whole equation of US, Europe, and Iran.
Yes.
The role that India plays. So he expects that India will help stop Iran from going into the nuclear direction. And
because of this strong economic tie that they have with the trade with energy and that sort of thing, India being one of their biggest customers on that.
So he expects that they will put a pressure on Iran, and he said, you need to put more pressure on Iran, and there are going to be more sanctions on Iran. And he does agree that the bullying technique will not work, and we have to use and resolve this through diplomacy, which is exactly what Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, mentioned, that the nuclear issue needs to be resolved through diplomacy, and defended very clearly that on the oil buying, because Iran is a close neighbor and they have had a long relationship, and it's an important source for energy for India.
Right.
But
so India is essentially serving as a mediator in this relationship.
That's what they expect it to be, but by not necessarily through pure diplomacy, but by through kind of force. So that if India could align with European Union and US against Iran, I think it will be a very formidable force. And that's what they're looking for. But let's see, we will keep on reporting to our audience as the weeks progress. This is going to be the most interesting.
Very interesting.
The focus is completely moved from Pakistan or even Afghanistan or Taliban as an issue to Iran right now.
Yes.
So let's see how it progresses, and I hope peace prevails. Bhavna, on the US sector, as I mentioned to you, the Foreign Secretary Ranjan Mathai had a wonderful trip to US, and he met with several authorities in Washington, D.C., and he met with the Undersecretary of Commerce for Industry and Security, Eric Hirschborn, and other senior Commerce Department officials in Washington, D.C., and the main agenda there was the discriminatory action against India's IT industry. And it's so strange that he gave certain facts about India and their business in IT industry. Almost $15 billion have been paid by Indian IT companies in last 5 years in taxes alone.
That's a huge contribution to, and this is India's
And he said, we do $40 billion in US imports in goods and services, and Indian business people have invested close to $26 billion in America. That's serious money.
Right.
And in return, he, of course, he also gave a few more numbers from, as per NASSCOM, which is India's National Association of Software and Service Companies, that Indian industry has more than 100,000 in the US, which was only 20,000. It has grown up 5 times in last 6 years, and it may grow. It may be growing further exponentially if this kind of inward treatment is not given to them.
Right.
But he also mentioned.
This has created jobs in the U.S. also. So he's saying, all this tax revenue that's being created from this IT industry, imagine what it could do for the U.S., right?
And, he brought up how Indians are being restricted through visa. And he mentioned that Indians, even from a very rough calculations, have paid over $200 million in visa fees. Leave that aside. While applying for the visa and being denied alone, Indian professionals have paid between $30 to $50 million. It's a serious money, and US cannot deny that, and they need to revisit this strategy or policy of staying inward.
Right, because there are so many aspiring Indians trying to come here, and there's a lot of money involved in this, and it can really boost the economy in that sense.
as we have been reporting in the last week also, we talked about the HCL looking to bring hundreds and thousands of jobs into this country.
Yeah.
Some very, very positive thing for Indian community. Our own governor, Nikki Haley from South Carolina, there was a voting of about 878 adults done there, and to figure out which is the most popular name as far as national recognition is concerned. And guess what? She won the voting, and she was around 12%, which is not very high, but at least she was the name as against the other well-known person, Stephen Colbert. She beat Stephen Colbert.
And these are all natives to South Carolina.
In fact, she was better than Senators Jim DeMint, who was number 2, and Lindsey Graham, again, he's a Republican from South Carolina. It's very interesting that an Indian who has risen in the last 3 years has become the most popular name from the South Carolina as a national face. Let's see where it goes, but very interesting observations from the polls that the 66% people said that they are not stressed from the previous day, and on a given day also they don't feel, about 74% of people don't feel they're stressed. So using this as an indication that South Carolinians are very happy, the governor has asked people, the government officials, to answer the phone by saying it's a great day in South Carolina. I wish we could
Sounds like a happy place.
I wish we could say the same thing in many states of US today.
Right.
Or everybody could pick up a phone and say it's a great day in America. But at least Nikki Haley has done some wonders, and they're able to voluntarily use this as a way to greet the incoming calls.
Right. And, popularity in politics always works. In her position, it really, in the case of Obama and the polls that they do with favorability ratings, it's always a plus to have that
Interestingly, Bhavna, that during the polls, almost 1/3 of the people did not know who was the Vice President of America. Some of them
Right.
even mentioned Dick Cheney's name still as the Vice President.
Or the wrong name altogether.
So which does not tell you so well about how the Vice Presidential position is treated in America vis-a-vis a governor of South Carolina. Moving again back to Washington, D.C., a very good positive development, as we've been saying that U.S. Has got a new ambassador, Sherry Rehman, from Pakistan. So we have the Indian ambassador in Washington, D.C. is a woman. A Pakistan ambassador to Washington, D.C. is a woman. Secretary of State for U.S. is a woman. So it's a women power in Washington, D.C., becoming very strong after Hussein Haqqani was called back into Pakistan during that unfortunate event of Memogate. And he has been blamed to be conspiring along with the President Zardari and writing to Washington, D.C. that there is a possibility of coup by military regime in Pakistan, and they need help to make sure it doesn't happen. But he has defended that position. He went back. He actually hid in the Prime Minister's home because he felt there was a challenge to his life. And he's actually supposed to be returning now to US as a private citizen because his freedom to travel has been okayed. But Sherry Rehman has not had a good start because the Defense Secretary Leon Panetta has blamed Pakistan for double dealing, which is a very challenging statement for the circumstances that we have, because as it is, the ambassador faces a difficult situation back home where people are very unhappy by the covert operation to kill Obama by US. 2 of their natives were killed, 24 of their soldiers were killed. So there is a very bad sentiments back out there, and she has to, find a way to soothe out the relationship, make the nerves calm, and rebuild this relationship. She's a wonderful person. She has been an information minister in the party before. She comes from PPP. She's very confident, she's a very smart, very handsome lady, and very charming, very intelligent. So, they expect, even if the rumor that is out there that Ambassador, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Gilani, may be arrested and tried, and there may be a change there. So she still feels that she is good and she should be able to carry it forward. So we wish her all the luck.
Hopefully, yeah, she'll be able to use some of that diplomacy to, settle things down in
Certainly.
that case.
I think she has the material in her that she can do it. Very good announcement by President Barack Obama. He has named our Amrita Sen for the US Humanities Medal, who was the first one to get a US Humanities Medal. We have had several of them get in the other areas like IT and education, but here is Professor Amrita Sen getting for humanities. And Bhavna, the catch here is that he is not even a US citizen. He is still an Indian citizen and maintains through his green card his status here. He is a professor at Lemont University, and he is a professor of economics and philosophy at Harvard University. So he becomes the first person in America who is not a citizen to get this award. And I'll tell you very honestly, he is very highly respected globally. Whether you talk of Washington DC, whether you talk of him in India, he has been a contemporary and a very close friend of Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh.
Right.
Because of, he has done an extraordinary work in the field of economics for the poor. And the White House citation actually describes the economist and summarizes it in one sentence: for his insights into the causes of poverty, famine, and injustice. By applying philosophical thinking to questions of policy, he has changed how standards of living are measured and increased our understanding of how to fight hunger. This is a tribute to Professor Amrita Sen.
Absolutely.
It makes us very proud. So now moving back the action at the global level, once again, Bhavna, we have very unfortunate situation around India. In the islands, we have Maldives is in a mess completely. There is almost a civil war. The popular president or the elected president of Maldives, Mohammed Nasheed, was taken out on a gunpoint with a few police officers and military people, and the administration has been taken by the successor President Mohammad Wahid Hussein Manik, who does not have a vote behind him, and the next elections are supposed to happen next year towards the fall.
Right.
In
So
2013.
Nasheed is basically demanding that a re-election be held immediately.
Obviously, he's been removed for no reason.
Right.
And his people are being killed. They're being dragged out from his town, Adu Atoll, and they are being picked up one by one, and many of them have been killed. So he is very, very worried. He's not even leaving the country. In fact, the whole family has been moved into, I think, Sri Lanka, well protected. But he has refused to come out. Indian envoy, UN envoy, even the Commonwealth envoys have come into the country to administer calm and go for a dialogue. But I think the single word that he is coming up with is that I need to have elections and let the people decide who is the president.
Exactly.
As I mentioned about Pakistan's Prime Minister Gilani, who had appealed to the Supreme Court, has been denied, and he will be, tried for the charges that have been brought against him, and it's possible that he'll be facing a jail term, which is not, again, a good thing to happen in Pakistan.
Right, because this is going to raise tension between Pakistan's civilians and the Supreme Court and the justice system. So, it's really testing the people's faith in the justice system.
Correct. Coming now again to our homeland, Chicago Mayor, Rahm Emanuel, who is very popular with the South Asian community in Chicago. And when you think of Chicago, you talk about Devon Avenue.
Yes.
And I don't know if you have been to Devon Avenue.
Oh, I have. It's an exciting place.
It was an exciting place. The roads today look broken. The buildings are not, really up to the mark. The security, the road transportation system, traffic, it's kind of not there today.
Right.
And there was a gathering at the Croatian Cultural Center, which is right on Devon Avenue. And this was hosted by Elder woman Deborah Silverstein, where there were leaders from all communities, obviously the Indians, the Pakistanis, the Jewish, the Russian, who all have business stakes on Devon Avenue. And they brought up to him the issues that Devon is facing. This is a business district, very important part of the city. And he clearly acknowledged that. And he said, Deborah has drawn my attention towards infrastructural problems, and I will pay an attention to them. We will fix it. In fact, with him was the Housing and Economic Development Commissioner Andrew Mooney, Transportation Commissioner Gabe Klein, and other people who will help him carry his mandate.
Right. All right, we're going to have to take another short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.